Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Sean and Sax Show. Greetings and salutations.
Welcome.
Excuse me. Welcome to the show. We are going to jump right into it, babe. Are you okay with that?
Let's go.
You like to jump right into it.
Let's go.
Excuse me. So we were chatting this morning, and we decided to make a conversation around this, podcast conversation around this. This is a great conversation. I mean, this is super hot on everybody's radar. Lots of people talking about it. Lots of stuff. You got stuff on your leg, babe. Just give me a heads up, because you'll watch the replay and you'll be all mad about it.
Like, wood chips on my knees. That's odd.
Really? You want to talk about that story?
I honestly don't know.
I digress. She has wood chips on her knees. Don't worry about it.
Random.
We're married happily, as you can tell. Anywho, so why don't you tell everybody what you shared, what your comments were, and kind of give everybody the backstory.
Yeah, so the other day I posted about my feelings around what's going on with how I feel like womanhood is being diluted away.
Yep.
It's become a costume. It's become something that you can just decide to be, which, I try not to take offense to a lot, but that's offensive because there's so much uniqueness and wonderful attributes about a woman, and I don't believe it's something that can just be a costume. And in addition to that, I went in and discussed how a lot of what's going on right now is just straight up child grooming, and I'm completely and utterly against it. I've worked directly with organizations to protect children from sex predators. Therefore, this is very much a passion project, not passion project, but a passionate thing that I have a lot to say around. I have 5 kids. Like, I am a woman. And in addition to that, like, I've been an international fitness competitor. So when I was going and talking about what's going on with women's sports right now, I have a lot to say. And it got a lot of traction.
We don't mince words very often at all, ever, really. And Sax was really direct about it. And there's a bunch of dudes that are masquerading around as women, and there's a lot of people getting a lot of attention right now around this who are just literally dudes who one day decide, you know what, I'm going to go on this womanhood journey. And some of these dudes literally are doing it just for the attention. They're just doing it for the social media accolades. Like, they're not even trying or wanting to, or even publicly talking about quote unquote transitioning and becoming a real woman. They're just literally pretending to be women and masquerading around as women, wearing women's clothes, talking about being a woman, talking about periods. I mean, dudes with dicks talking about the feelings that they have around their monthly menstrual cycle. Odd. I mean, it really is odd. And depending on who you listen to, I mean, there's a lot of people talking about this is literally like people have serious mental health issues. And my wife, Sax, you are very, very passionate about these things for a number of different reasons, but tell everybody what we were talking about this morning and why this is important to you as a woman, and really like what you went kind of balls deep, for lack of better words, in these people trying to literally reframe and recategorize and redefine what a woman is.
Right. So I just want to preface with, like, I have a very loving heart. I'm very much, the first thing I do is I analyze like the situation. I try to look at both sides. I try to look at the big picture. And as I shared with a woman earlier this morning, is I used to be more left thinking
liberal.
In this. I know I used to be more left. I was never anything. I've never identified as Republican or Democrat or liberal. I've just like kind of, like I said, I felt out, how do I feel about what's going on? Where do my values lie in this? And I shared with her, I said, I used to be more left leaning with this stuff until I've realized that as it's gone on, how much a small minority is threatening to dismantle our society. And that may sound extreme. People be like, oh my gosh, that is not what's going on. It is what's going on. It is what's going on.
Right.
And I also shared with this woman, I love people on an individual level. If someone has a mental health issue, I understand that that's a struggle. I understand that suicide is high in these groups. I understand that. I have empathy for people in the struggle. I do. But getting in and trying to change the fact that I can't pee in a restroom at the airport without a threat of a man dressed as a woman walking in to the bathroom. I'm not comfortable with that. And this small minority is being pushed into the direction of taking over, where now I need to call you, I need to identify you as something else. No, I don't need to do that.
Yeah. This is where we went down the rabbit hole this morning about the lunacy happening and really I think most everybody listening to this understands what we're talking about. I think a vast majority of people, they've tried to float all these polls out there, and you'd be surprised how many people identify as trans. It's like, get at it. There's 380 million people out here. Like, this wasn't a thing until the narrative changed and everybody wanted it to become a thing.
It was even a small
But the truth of the matter is, like, that a vast majority of people identify as a man or a woman, period, end of story. Like, there's no question around that, right? And so this, what you're talking about is this small fraction of people truly taking over the majority of the conversation. And this is a big thing. Like, you can't go anywhere, turn on any media outlet, news, mainstream media, social media, whatever, and not have this trans conversation just shoved in your face over and over and over and over again, right? And there's a lot of different ways to unpack this and talk about this, but the truth of the matter is what we were talking about earlier is, and I don't remember if it was Jordan Peterson or somebody else I heard talking about this, like, look, just because you have a mental health issue and you want to identify as a fucking flashlight, I'm not going to refer to you as a flashlight.
That's Jordan Peterson.
If you're a man and you identify as a palm tree, I'm not going to call you palm tree. If you're a woman that identifies as a fucking man and you want me to pretend that you're a man, I'm not going to do that, right? Or a dude pretending to be a woman. Like, the reality is, like, you're a dude dressed up as a girl, period, end of story. You're a dude dressed up as a girl. If you want to have somebody try and change the narrative and buy into your lunacy, we're not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. You're not going to do that. And I think what was really interesting about the conversation that you were having with this lady is so many people want you or expect you to buy into their shenanigans, buy into their charades, buy into their lunacy. Now, this isn't just new, but with the accessibility of social media, with the accessibility of mainstream media, we have a lot more access to data, a lot more access to content, a lot more access to stories, a lot more access to what's going on in the world than we did, 15 years ago, 10 years ago, right? The truth of the matter is, and Saxony and I are very, very, very passionate about this, like, we're not going to play your game. And I think a majority of Americans believe this. Like, we're not going to pretend that you're a fucking fire hydrant or a frog or a cat just because you put on cat ears. You can masquerade around as a fucking cat, but you're not a fucking cat. You're a human being, right? And that's just what it is. Like, we're not going to buy into that. You can label us misogynistic. You can label us racist. You can label us whatever the fuck you want. But the reality is, it's your mental health problem, not mine. I'm not going to play your game and buy into your bullshit just because you are pretending to be something that you're not, right? If you think about it, like, it's absolute lunacy. And what I really feel passionate about, and we talked about this, is the fact that so many people understand what we're saying and believe what we're saying. They're not going to buy into your bullshit, but yet they won't say anything. Yeah. A majority of people, like, and this is where Sax, we got really kind of into it this morning, not into it, but like I'm not going to refer to you as a woman when you're a man, period. Yeah. You're not a she, you're a he. You're a man dressed up as a fucking woman, plain and simple. Period. End of story. Like, this is my logic and my reason and where I am. I don't need to feel your feelings and feel your pain and wonder where your curiosity is and go down the rabbit hole of your insanity. I'm a very sane, rational man, period, end of story. A dude dressed up as a girl is a dude dressed up as a girl, period, end of story. I don't care what you feel, what you think. Now, people will say, well, Sean, you're being insensitive. Is that really insensitive, or is that actually me holding on to my morals and my values and my stature as like a sane human being? Because if you come up to me and say, I'm a fucking fire hydrant, I'm not going to fucking pretend that you're a fire hydrant. Now, if my dog goes and pisses on your leg, that would be like a really funny thing to have happen. You know what I mean? Richie, make sure the cameras are rolling when that happens, because that would be a great fucking footage. But dude, I'm not buying into the lunacy. I'm not going to buy into it, and you're not going to buy into it. Right. I'm not going to pretend that a dude who wants to go fucking play women's sports and just absolutely obliterates everybody is good. That is so fucked up. And the fact that like more parents aren't like coming to these events and these sporting events, completely protesting this, pulling your kids out of these experiences in these sporting events, or better yet, like going and showing that you don't participate in this shit.
I want to talk about that because I used to compete. Like I used to physically compete for strength competitions. Like I understand what that takes. I understand there's like a sliver between first and second and third place, a sliver. And there's these little girls that have been training their whole life to become a professional swimmer, to become a professional bodybuilder. There's
MMA, wrestling, boxing, Jesus Christ. I mean, I'm watching men beat the fuck out of women in MMA.
And this is the thing, is society is so focused on, well, care about their feelings, care about their rights. Okay, but pause for a second. Why do the women have to give up theirs in order to support the other? That's not right. I don't need to devalue myself, and I don't need to give up my dreams and opportunities and my safety in order to serve another group. Like that's not right. I'm not all about that. You know, people take it back to, oh, this is like segregation when blacks and whites use it. No, it's not. It's not. There's a physical difference, and they're like, oh, well, they take estrogen and they take this. No, these men are not built like their women competitors. They're not. Fight me on it. They're not. And it's bullshit because if I gave it my all, I gave my heart and my soul to competing. And I did end up tying for first place with another biological woman.
Should have beat the shit out of her.
We tied for first.
The trophy, bitch.
I can't say I took first, but we tied for first. In an international competition, I understand how incredibly difficult it is to show up and to win something like that. Now, if you would have put a biological male in there, I would have never won. Never won. Never. Because we're not built the same. I know a lot of a lot of feminists are like, oh, we're all the same. We're not the same. We're not equal. We have different strengths. And men are physically stronger. They are made differently. This is robbing our little girls of their opportunities. This is endangering women. In like the MMA ones are a perfect example. This is not right. I am not going to say, oh, it's okay if he identifies as a woman, he can come into the restroom with my little girl.
No, it won't happen.
No, he can't.
It won't happen.
He can't. It's not right. And this is the thing. If you want to get your own bathroom, because it's like we don't know it's like a grab bag bathroom. Cool. I don't care. But I don't want to give up my rights and the things that I value and the things that protect women and honor women because somebody else wants a piece of that pie.
Right.
No.
The thing that you said that I felt was really good this morning is, and this is the conversation that was going back and forth with this lady, is, you know, we should have that these people that identify as fire hydrants and palm trees and cats and whatever else, you know, that we should be attentive to their feelings and that their feelings matter and everything else. Cool. Well, so do mine. If your opinions matter, then my opinions matter.
Exactly.
And at the end of the day, I can have my fucking opinions and I can have my reality just like you can have your reality. Which is right, which is wrong. What I'm seeing happen is we're literally taking a microscopic reality of this country and we're putting it on a pedestal, and anybody and everybody who disagrees with it is labeled something. Plain and simple, done and done. And this is the scary part for me, and this is what I really hope people get out of the part of this conversation. So long as you don't say anything, this will continue to be a problem. So people say, well, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? The reality is, like, you have to start speaking up. You have to start doing something. Now, I can tell you that I have never had any of my kids have to be in a sporting event where there was a different sex playing in the same fucking world, right? I haven't had that experience. So I can't speak to that. What I would say is if my daughters are competing and there's a dude right there, I would be the dad who would absolutely go batshit crazy. I would have that person publicly humiliated. Now, you might think that it's right or wrong. I would be like there with the fucking big neon sign, that's a dude, you know what I'm saying? Get the guy out of the fucking pool of the girls. You might think that that's wrong. You might think that that's mean. You might think that that's whatever. But here's my point. If that doesn't happen, then what will happen? If that doesn't happen, if you don't stand up and say, my opinion matters just like everybody else's, and the fact is I don't want a dude in the fucking women's room, then when will any change happen? Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of people listening to this that probably think I'm an asshole, they think I'm a dick, you think I'm insensitive, whatever. I understand people have feelings. When I was a little kid, I was confused too. I wasn't confused about whether I was a boy or a girl. I was confused about a lot of shit when I was a kid. I think everybody listening to this would agree. But there comes a point in time when you as a rational human being, as a rational fucking adult, go past this lunacy and you're like, no, this just isn't fucking right. Well, I don't need to play to your feelings. I don't need to like not have you be crying and the whole fucking thing. A dude wants to compete with my daughter in a sport? Fuck you. Fuck you. Get that motherfucker out of the pool. Get him out of the fucking ring. That's a fucking dude. Period. End of story. And if you think that I'm being a dick, you think that I'm being rude, whatever, I don't give a shit. I don't fucking care. And I truly believe right now, more than ever, we need men and women, husbands and wives, fathers and mothers, standing the fuck up and saying, no, I don't want dudes in the bathroom with my daughter, period. And literally not allowing it to happen. Period, end of story. Like, you won't allow it to happen. Meaning, if I'm at the airport and my daughter or you're in the bathroom and I see some fucking dude dressed as a woman who's got a beard and long hair and decides he wants to fucking walk, no, you're not getting in right now. I'm not letting you in right now. Oh, Sean, you're taking away somebody's rights, blah, blah. No, you're endangering my fucking wife, period. And as a man, fuck you. No, let me finish with this, because I'm really passionate about this. And I want people to understand where I'm coming from when I say this. Like, that's my... Fellas, if you're listening to me, ladies, if you're listening to me, I want you to just vision this for a second. Your daughter is in a fucking public restroom, and a dude walks into that public restroom, a grown fucking man with your 10, 11, 12-year-old daughter. You want me to believe that you as a steward of your fucking family are just going to stand there and watch that shit? You're going to watch a man walk into the bathroom? Fuck you, dude. Bullshit. I won't. I never will. If you want to, that's totally fine for you. But dude, we're at a tipping point in this conversation, in this culture, in this society, where me saying what I'm saying, I'm demonized and villainized because I want my daughter to be safe from some fucking pervert who can't figure out his own shit. I'm not labeling everybody that. There's probably a lot of great trans people out there that say, hey, you know what? I got a dick. I'm going to go in the men's room. Not a problem. Cool. A lot of ladies, you want to sit to pee? Great. Not a problem. But I don't know the difference. And I don't need to know the difference. I'm not here to ask you, are you a fucking sexual predator, a pedophile, before you walk into the bathroom with my daughter. The simple fact is, as a fucking man, you ain't getting in the bathroom with my daughter, period. End of story.
Mm-hmm. That's the part that gets me is I would love to believe in Skittles and rainbows and My Little Pony is what the world is made of. It's not. Evil will take all the opportunity it gets.
Yep.
If you want to give evil more opportunity, you will let your values slide. You will let the social structures that have been set up to protect us, not protect us, but just like to honor us as women and men and children, and that parents do have the right to make decisions on behalf of their children who are children. This is, I feel like right now, everything is just going to chaos. Mm-hmm. They're like, oh, let's pick a new topic to create chaos. And I'm talking about the leaders of what's going on, right? Like, oh, this is a chaos topic. This is a chaos topic. I'm not saying that all trans people are bad people. I'm saying that it's not right for me to have to change what
you are a woman. You are a biological woman.
And I don't find it acceptable to play dress up as a woman and give you have all the same rights as me. No, that's not okay.
But and go ahead.
With grooming of children, like this whole chaos thing going on right now, as you look at it, and it's like children are being. Have you ever sat with a child and had a conversation? These children believe in the tooth fairy. Yeah. They believe in Santa Claus. They believe they could be. I'm a pirate, Mom. You start fucking putting things in their mind, and I've seen it. I follow an account who I'm very grateful that they exist. It's called Gays Against Groomers, and it's gay people and people of the community against what's happening. Not against their people, not against that. It's different. It's against what the agendas that are being pushed with the mask of, oh, we're all inclusive. We're all supporting this class. Like, I believe that it's evil behind a mask.
Yep. And I want to say,
that's what I care about, big time.
Yeah. I want to say something really quick so people understand this, because a lot of people probably label me as this, like, Trump loving, flag flying, truck driving, gunslinging dude. And at the end of the day, my dad's gay. My father is married to another man. My dad's been gay since a year after my parents' divorce. And so I've very much been around the gay community. I very much I've watched my father literally be gay for the last 27 years. Right?
My brother's gay.
And so understand something, like the depth of my empathy is very, very great. I understand that Bob and Tom want to get married, whatever, man. Go fucking do your thing. Lisa and Sally want to go do it, great, whatever. What I'm talking about and what I'm radically passionate about is that when your insanity makes my wife uncomfortable, I have a problem with that. When my daughter doesn't feel safe going into a woman's restroom because there's a man with a dick in the woman's restroom, I have a problem. Now, this is where we get to the who's right and who's wrong. Whose feelings matter most? Whose feelings are more important? And this is the real dichotomy of shit happening right now. Period. End of story. And this is where so many Americans are so fucking cowardly. They won't stand up. They won't speak up because they're like, oh, well, I don't want to be.
Because they're being led into guilt and shame.
Exactly. You're shamed
their own pride
for not
and
accepting
their own values and their own honoring.
100%. I am without question a very empathetic, very sympathetic, very understanding Christian man. I really am.
You really are.
I mean, my father's gay, right? I'm not gay. I don't have any problem with it, right? I've got gay friends. I mean, our friend Ant, I mean, he's a fucking legend, right?
Yeah.
What I'm really fucking passionate about is understanding that if dudes who want to be chicks want to get into sports, then go be in a sport with dudes who want to be chicks.
Yeah. Period.
End of story. That's it. You want your own fucking deal? Great. You want to build your own bathroom? Go collect a whole bunch of freaking money from all the trans community and build the gender fluid, work infused fire hydrant bathroom. Go right ahead. That's yours, you guys. They're all of the confused people that want to be boys and girls and boys. Go use that one. But dude, I won't allow my wife or my daughter to become physically uncomfortable going into a restroom because there is a man who wants to go use that same restroom. Period. End of story. Now, I won't back down from that. Like, well, Sean, no, fuck you, I shouldn't be anything. I'm going to be a protector and a provider for my family. Period. End of story.
Right. Because here's what happens. So say we allow that.
Right.
Then where's the next step?
Right.
Because if you give someone an inch, they will take a mile. Right. So then now what? Now we have high school girls' locker rooms that boys can decide they're girls.
They're already doing it.
They're
already fucking doing that shit.
I'm just giving another point of like, so then all of a sudden we have boys. I mean, like, okay, maybe there's one trans person that applies for safely, right? Well, what about the little boys that decide that, oh, this will be a good way to punk it? And we can, I mean, you guys, this is real.
Right.
Like, oh, and then all of a sudden there's teenage boys in the girls' locker room. When are we going to say, nope, actually no. Well, like, these girls matter too.
Right.
These girls matter. These children matter.
100%.
These women matter.
100%.
And I understand why people struggle with this, because I have been I've felt this out, and I've been on both sides, not both sides, because I don't like to say I'm on either side, but You've
thought about it.
I've thought about it.
Like, okay, yeah, if I'm a trans dude, there are people that are committing suicide. We get that. We understand that.
Multiple gay pride parades. Okay, my brother is gay. Like, I don't have an issue with, like, I understand that. I have so much empathy for that. But you don't get to fucking come in and shake up what is protecting women right now.
Right.
What honors women right now. I don't need to give up any of that because of someone wants it to change in a way that is not safe. It's not. It's not.
This is the hard part of the conversation too. When I get passionate, Saxony gets passionate, it is what it is. It's who we are. We wear our emotions on our sleeves most of the time, and you know, the question is, all right, well, what do you do, right? A man wants to become a woman and dress as a woman, great. What do you do? I mean, I have empathy for that. Do what you want to do, man. Like, I think that you have an issue, a mental problem. Cool, whatever. That's gospel according to Sean. I'm sure there's probably science both ways to say yes or no, whatever. I don't really care, man. What I care about is when a man decides to go down that path, and then all biological women need to change who they are, what their safety looks like because of that man. That's what I have a fucking problem with. If you want to masquerade around as literally whatever, I don't fucking care.
Right.
But the second that you come into my world and you literally endanger or potentially endanger my family, your feelings don't matter to me. Like your confusion, your daddy issues, they don't matter to me. Like my job as a man, as a father, and I really pray men that are listening to this, like hear what the fuck I'm talking about. My job as a man is to protect my family. And if some lunatic wants to come in and endanger my family, whether it's physically or intellectually or morally, and try and pass that reality into my world, I won't allow it. I don't care about your feelings. I don't care about what your story is. I have a duty as a man, and this is where, for me, when people say, well, Sean, what do we do? I mean, what's the solution to this? I only know one thing. As a man, as a provider, and as a father, it is to my family. I know that I have a duty to protect and honor my family, right? Like there is no solution to this other than men being men and protecting their families and standing the fuck up and ensuring that these things don't go down that rabbit hole like you're talking about, to where our daughters and our women physically are shaken going into a public restroom. Period. End of story. That's it. That's the gospel according to Sean. I don't have any other grandiose ideas and ways to blend the men and the women. And at the end of the day, like, I don't believe that men should be in women's sports, period. And it's, you know what I mean? I don't give a shit. Mm-hmm. But this is where I truly pray that God-fearing Christian men understand, and we've talked about this before on the podcast, that as the darkness gets bigger, so must our light. Period. End of story. I mean, this is David and Goliath, Sodom and Gomorrah. You can go through the Bible, you can go through the book, good book, and talk about all of the shit. But as evil continues to try and perpetuate itself and masquerade as good and normal, like righteousness must rise. As evil continues to pretend that this is the new normal, pretend that this is good, pretend that this is how it should be, righteousness must rise and must fight even harder to ensure the protection of our families. Period.
Absolutely.
End of story.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Chop that one up. I don't know what else you want to say to this, but it's something that I believe needs being talked about, and I feel like what a lot of people are afraid to do right now is to talk about any of these topics. Mm-hmm. Is that we're not talking about them in this light, and there will be a lot of people that are going to shit all over this podcast. There's a lot of people.
I only had 2 negative comments on that post.
Huh?
I only had 2.
There'll be people that will comment on this. You know what I mean?
My point is there are more people that are for this than
Agreed.
against this. However, the against is very loud. Right.
Which is why, in my opinion, us sitting by doing nothing, you and me, right. We the people, we as a Christian community, whatever you want to call us, sitting by doing nothing is a problem. Yeah. Because if our voice is not heard, if that light is not put out there into the world, then the other people that think and feel the way that we do will continue to struggle and will continue to suffer.
Yeah, we are not here to wake up the sheep.
No.
We are here to help the lions rise and wake up and speak and be seen and show up. And
I truly believe there is no perfect way to say anything. There will be a lot of people that will judge, well, you should have said this, you should have said that, you should say it like this. Yeah, whatever, cool. But I have a daughter. I mean, I have a wife. I won't allow, I mean, I don't want to beat the horse to death, but I won't allow a man to go in the woman's room while you're in there, period. Well, I don't care where it is. I don't care what's, like, I just, as my morals, my protection, my masculinity, what's my DNA inside of me is I just won't allow it. Mm-hmm. Physically, I will restrain you from going in and being in the bathroom with my wife, period. That, some people might call that extreme. Some people might say that I'm taking away somebody else's rights, whatever. Well, you're taking away my wife's rights to pee in safety, to pee in her own little bubble of solitude in the bathroom. You're taking that away. Mm-hmm. So what do you do? What do you do? There must be, and I'll leave it at this. This is where I truly believe men need to stand the fuck up. because you will be demonized. I will be demonized for what I just said. There will be people that will call me and label me. And of course, when I run for president one day, all these sound bits will come out and all these people say, well, Sean said, and Sean said, I don't give a shit, right? There will be people who will demonize what I'm saying and say that I'm taking away somebody else's rights. You're a man of freedom. You're taking away somebody else's rights. There is a time right now, men, for choosing. And will you succumb to the mob? Will you literally walk away from your own moral fabric? Will you hide who you are and what you are because you're worried about being demonized and villainized and persecuted? I want you to really think about that for 2 seconds, because what I'm saying right now is literally physically restraining someone who is a man going in and peeing with my wife. Period. End of story. I understand what I'm saying. I know full well what the fuck I'm saying. I know full well what that looks like. I know exactly what that will feel like to that person and what will be all over the fucking news and what everybody will think. I understand that. But perhaps, men, this is our call. Perhaps the call, in order to keep the semblance of order and to keep the balance and to keep our families actually intact and to protect our women, is that we need to do that. We need to risk that reality versus being a bunch of fucking cowards sitting in our home, staying quiet, not doing anything, turning the blind eye. That's the problem, is you watch a dude walk into the bathroom with your fucking family and you turn a blind eye, fucking shame on you. Shame on you. That's how I see it.
Mm-hmm. If you stand for nothing, you'll fall for everything.
100%.
And that's what I see in this. It's because now, you take that one avenue. Now, okay, now we have this level of acceptance. We have this level of okay, we're going to take half of the things that matter to women and we'll move them over to trans because their feelings matter more. Then what? Now we have celebrities talking about and encouraging why children can consent to dramatic surgeries and to puberty blockers and all these things. It's one of my big passions in life is to protect children. Yeah. I mean, I have 5 kids. It matters so much to me. And now it's it's being so shoved down our throats to where now the NHL, we have to wear our pride stuff. It's, these games and you've got it in football and you've got it on beer cans and you've got it in every fucking avenue. And it's how about okay, we see you, but we don't need to choke on it. It doesn't need to be everywhere because it's impressioning our children more than I think we want to accept. Yeah. We have our frontal lobe fully developed, okay? Most of us. It takes you to 27 years old before your frontal lobe's fully developed. You cannot consent at 7 years old, 11 years old, to deciding you're a girl. I love the whole thing about protect the tomboys. I was a tomboy. I also was a glitter obsessed princess, but I was I flip-flopped. And that's a perfect example. I am literally a perfect example of why it matters to me, right? I was very, very, very girly, but I was also an extremely strong, rugged, rough and tough tomboy.
I've seen your mullet pictures.
I'm serious. I was this just little stocky ball of energy and muscle. I could have easily, I don't say but I could have maybe been very easily groomed into thinking, oh, maybe I'm in the wrong body because I'm not like blank. Right. But normal doesn't exist. There is no normal for what a little girl is and what a little boy is. I love to play with Ninja Turtles so much. They were my favorite childhood toy. But guess what? I am not a man in a woman's body, okay? I am a tomboy. I'm still very tomboy. We need to really see that children cannot differentiate the difference. Yeah. And the more society and the more adults deem it is okay, the more a child can be persuaded into something. And you guys, you are the gatekeeper. Yeah. Parents, you are the gatekeeper. We need to stand up for this. And there are sick parents, as I've seen it on the interwebs, but I don't believe everything I see on the interwebs.
I think most parents are good. I think most parents get this. You know what I mean? And again, I don't, look, we choose to take on these topics and talk about things that are real. And some people can talk about it and say that that's not that big of a deal and it doesn't matter. And I understand why you would say that, but the truth of the matter is it is important. This is real. This is affecting our culture and our society. And, and who are we to say this or who are we to say that? I don't want to be somebody who's laying on his deathbed saying, or realizing that I said nothing and did nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If that's what you want to do, that's totally fine. If you choose to just be idle about it, and it's you know, it is what it is. But the truth of the matter is it's not going to go away. This isn't going to go away. Like the idea that somehow, some way, me and you not saying anything is just going to make it all better. I don't believe that. You know what I mean? If you've got a negative force, you have to have a positive force of equal or greater value to actually keep the negative force away. Period. End of story. That's how it works. And you will be demonized, you will be labeled, you will be persecuted regardless at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. So for me, it's like, man, I can't stomach the idea that men would turn a blind eye, would turn away because they're uncomfortable in a man going into a bathroom with their daughter. It makes me sick. But I truly believe that a majority of men listening to this, so long as they have like they know, and like this is where again I just truly believe like the aspect of leadership is being able to say things and do things and be places that most people won't go. Is, you know, I pray that our podcast continues to inspire people and motivate people and show people that there are others out there that think the way that they think or are the way they are. And if we can empower one man or two men or 10 men or whatever to do that and to take that stand, perhaps that's where, you know, we create the semblance of order and the balance and the protection of women and what women are, you know?
And it's, I swear though, if you just go to your intuition on this, it is a very gray space. Like there's very black and there's very white, but like there doesn't have to be, it's not like we need to choose black or white. It's knowing that like, just because this is something doesn't mean that this has to be shamed.
Right.
Like, it's not one, it's not like, oh, you're either with us or against us. Like, I get that. But I get, like, you do you, okay? Just don't fucking fuck with me. And I'm going to still honor myself, no matter how much you shame me into saying that I should not honor myself and give up here. You know, it's like, here, I'll give up some of my values and put it in the social pot.
Right.
No,
right.
No, I'm not doing that.
I feel like we need to dissect this even more and go down the
well, there's a lot.
Even more.
There's so much to it, and I keep saying I understand because I get that, like, oh well, these people, it's like they're focused on like, oh, woe is them. Oh, they're just celebrating themselves. I understand that. I get that, right? But do not buy into the fact that we have to accept everything that we're fucking fed.
Right.
We don't have to accept every goddamn thing that the internet makes us feel bad about.
Right.
We don't need to accept everything that our leadership says that we must accept or we're bad. No.
Right.
No. Because the adversary, evil, darkness, however you want to call it, is a clever motherfucker. And he will find any way to infiltrate what God has created and what matters.
Yeah.
And you will not take away a woman's divine nature, her spectacular essence, and make it a fucking costume. You will not. You will not. Period. End of story. I don't fucking care about anybody else's feelings. Women are magic. Period.
And with that, we'll call it a day. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I think that's a great place to end. I agree with you 100%. I think we said what needed to be we said what needed to be said, and that's all there is to it.
Oh.
Yes.
Indeed.
Cool. I agree with you. I'm glad you don't have a mullet anymore, and you're not a tomboy.
Isn't that funny? My mom. It must be an '80s thing.
Yeah, I mean, I never identified as a girl, and I'm sure at some point in time I like played dress up or something along those lines, but just I don't ever recall.
Yeah, just to humor you all. This is how bad of a, not bad. I shouldn't say bad. It was not bad. This is how extreme of a tomboy I was. 2 years in a row, and I was sometime in elementary school. I went as Phantom of the Opera for Halloween. I was obsessed. I didn't go as like the girl. Christine, I think her name is in the opera. I went as Phantom, and I made sure to keep my hair boy short, and so I could slick it back. And I loved being Phantom of the Opera 2 years in a row as a child. I used to slick my hair back because I didn't even know how to do girly hair. Like, that was my reality. Ironically, my brother ended up being very gay. Love him to death. Great human being. But it's like, we are like the case study of, you just don't know quite what's going to happen, because if you judge a child at 6 or 10 or 11 or 12, they're maybe not what they're showing at that time, because I'm very, 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 very woman. But yet,
Yes, you are. And I'm grateful for that. Thank you,
but
God.
I was an awkward little one. Here we are. I'm still an awkward little one.
Guys, would love your insight on this. If you feel so inclined and feel like somebody needs to hear this, feel free to share it. As we have said since day one, we'll keep it raw with you. We'll keep it real. This is the gospel according to Sean and Saxony. Our lives, what we think, what we feel, what we believe, whether it's right, whether it's wrong, whether it's good, it's bad, whatever. This is us just turning on a mic and being raw and talking about life and
Unscripted,
shit.
one shot, very mild edits, I would say.
Well, we don't edit. I was just about to say we don't edit the show other than like the lighting, because you're mad about lighting or some shit like that. But this is a turn it on, turn it off, one script deal, and I'm glad that we do that. So I'm sure that if you guys want to comment, we'd love to know your thoughts. Anything else, babe?
No, love you guys.
God bless you. Bye.
Bye.